This episode of the Accounting Insiders podcast is brought to you in part by Xero. Xero is a powerful cloud accounting software that improves efficiencies across your practice. With all client data stored on a single unified ledger, you and your clients can easily access and collaborate on the same set of books. Xero's advisor tools and automation solutions reduce time-consuming manual tasks and put data entry on autopilot. Work faster and more efficiently than ever before with Xero. Visit xero.com/accounting insiders to learn more.
Scaling New Heights 2023 in the Unison Globus booth with Charles McKissick. Did I say that right?
McKissick, but you got it close enough.
All right.
It's close enough.
So in the Scaling in the Unison Globus booth with Charles McKissick. Got that? Got
yes,
right?
You got
right,
it. We're good. We're good.
So
I've heard worse.
Right? Yeah, DeHart. I have as well. So just wanted to touch base quickly. So you guys do outsourcing for accounting professionals, right? So what I want to touch on is, what do you do? Maybe a little bit more in depth what that means, and what's in it for the accounting professional, and ultimately what are the gotchas that they need to be aware of if they're going to outsource. And I would say maybe that's like, what are the 3 or 4 things that if an accounting professional is considering outsourcing, what are the must-have kind of check boxes that they need to be thinking about? So maybe you can just give me a little bit about the company, Unison Globus, kind of what's the history of that, of the company.
Okay, thanks, Gary.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've been providing remote, dedicated talent to accounting professionals in North America and the UK since 2006.
Okay.
So how we like to distinguish ourselves from maybe some of the other outsourcing firms is we really focus on dedicated individuals that primarily work only for your team,
okay,
according to how you would have any other member of your team work. So that could be following your process, working in your systems, doing things how you like to have them done,
okay,
as opposed to us trying to tell you how things should be done.
Gotcha.
So we've been very successful supporting tax and accounting professionals in the U.S., particularly now that the talent shortage, which was exacerbated in the pandemic,
Sure,
but really started 20 plus years ago, has really come to fore. And unfortunately, just not a lot of people coming up in the pipeline training to be skilled professionals in the accounting profession, which is really sad. So we have a large workforce. Our team is based out of India, where the Big Four and the top 100 firms have been creating talent for the past 30 years. So there's a very well-educated, experienced, skilled level of tax and accounting professionals.
And highly motivated.
Highly motivated, yeah. One of the things about India, you've got a growing population, extremely strong family values. Yep. So people are starting families, they're having children. They want to provide for their families, and in many respects, that's also their parents.
Yep.
And they want to buy a house and have a great life. So they're very well motivated to work, which is really exciting. You talk about the gotchas. The 4 main questions we get when we're talking to prospective clients is, first of all, data security.
Yep.
Technical competency of the workers, communication skills, and then really adapting to the different time zones. Primarily, there's a lot of talent out of India. There's also great talent coming out of the Philippines.
Right, yeah, and we use a VA in the Philippines.
It's quite a bit of a time zone difference. The Philippines tends to have expertise in accounting and audit. We tend to be in the tax and accounting.
Okay.
So once you get comfortable with the idea of a 16-hour work productive day, it can be very, very effective for your process. So again, from a data security standpoint, that's our primary level of concern for clients. And we have essentially 4 levels of hire good people, physical security of the facility.
Okay.
Our people only work on a dual screen and a keyboard, so there's no thumb drives, no hard drives, no printer ports, and we have a very robust software firewall, and hardware setup. So, and I touch wood, since 2006, we've never had a data breach, but I don't tempt fate.
Sure.
As far as the technical skills, again, as I mentioned, there's a huge infrastructure that was created by the Big Four and the top 100s as far as educational institutions, university courses. We also do our own internal training on accounting and tax. Okay. So our people are very skilled and well trained, and we do continuous education to keep up with the ever-changing laws.
Right.
And depending on your resource that you want to choose, once you've had a chance to view their resume, interview them live on a Zoom or some other virtual platform, you can give them a skills test to test their tax and accounting knowledge. We've actually had people do Myers-Briggs type personality tests before they hire a team member, because it's really about good team fit.
Right.
And that's where the communication comes in. Our people are very good at written and spoken English, but again, even I'm from Oklahoma, you're from Georgia.
Right.
We sometimes use different words, but as we talk and we get to know each other, when you have a remote relationship with someone that is in a different country, it's really important to have regularly scheduled live, structured communication. Particularly in the first 3 months of the relationship, you've got to invest the time. They're going to also invest the time. You start to figure out, how do we communicate? How do we ensure that expectations on both sides are understood? And then you get to know them as people, and then share your goals and ideals. If you're a professional and you say, I want to grow my business by 20 clients this year, and guess what? If we achieve this revenue goal, you, my remote team, as well as my domestic team, are going to get a little bit of a bonus.
Right. You get X.
They buy into that.
Absolutely.
So it's treating them as human beings. And then again, the biggest thing about the long workday is you've got to have good process. You've got to have that regular communication, and you've got to have a proper tech stack too, because you essentially assign our team members work at the end of your day. Okay. They're working on it while we're sleeping here in North America. And then in the morning time, and depending on if you're the East Coast or the West Coast, and we have clients in all time zones, we have people in Hawaii too. So, we cover a lot of time zones. You have to make sure that you have a good organized structure for that monthly morning communication to make sure everything is clearly understood. You touch base. How did things go last night? Were there any problems you ran into? Are there any deadlines that we've promised that we're going to miss because maybe a lot of times, I say 95% of the time it's the end client, not the accountant, who hasn't provided the information.
Usually, I'm guilty.
That happens.
Guilty as charged.
But once you work that process, and I kind of look at it as it's like a football handoff or a relay. Once you get that process sorted out, then it tends to run very smoothly, because it really forces the CPA or the EA or accounting professional, they have to be organized.
Yes. Yeah.
And a lot of times it's not just dealing with a remote team, but being organized with your local team too.
Absolutely. And that goes to your tech stack. And so it's interesting so do most of your customers do that 16-hour workday where it's like, all right, I'm, on whatever Eastern time, and then the remote person starts at the end of that to work? Yeah. 'Cause that's not how we use our VA. He's basically working, his time, midnight to 8, let's call it, which is for us, 10 to 6. Do most of your clients work that 16-hour day? Is that how you guys really coach people?
Yeah, what we found is that for skilled professionals, and this is where we have tried to differentiate ourselves from outsourcing, which is kind of like traditionally it's a black box, you throw it out there and it comes back. Yeah. When you're dealing with skilled professionals, particularly people who have key family values, you don't want them working, a senior tax person working the 10 to 6 in the morning shift just to sync with our hours. I mean, ideally you would have that, but similar to how North Americans, particularly in the 20s and 30s and maybe early 40s, they've changed their work ethic and what's important as far as work-life balance.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not like maybe when we were younger,
Right.
which I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good
Sure.
thing, you know.
Focus on what's important, right?
And I think that's one of the reasons why the accounting profession maybe has had trouble attracting people, is because the idea of 8-hour work weeks,
Right.
maybe not being as paid as much as if I was to be a lawyer or an investment banker. You know,
Right.
accounting is a noble profession, very important. And I think that, you know, there's a few things we can do as an industry to try to, again, promote people to join it domestically. But
Right.
until that happens, why not take advantage of the good talent outside?
Absolutely. And are you focused in tax and accounting, or do you also do other like administrative type works? I mean, do you have teams that could be where basically I, as a solopreneur, could outsource everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we do business process outsourcing
Okay.
for small businesses that may not have an accounting professional as their key contact. You know, many times you have your tax person or accounting person who has watched you grow your business, and your business may grow to a point of time where you're too big for them to necessarily handle along with their other clients. So
Right.
we can provide a more direct B2B type service, still allowing your key trusted advisor to be compensated or be part of the equation, but not
Okay.
necessarily have day-to-day responsibility.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
One more question. What are the trends that you're seeing? As outsourcing, is it hockey stick going up, or is it just kind of a gradual? I mean, certainly outsourcing is taking place.
Yes.
Is it growing? Is it growing rapidly? What's taking place from your perspective?
It's grown rapidly over the last 3 or 4 years, partially driven by the pandemic. Also, there's a lot of mergers of large accounting firms as well as private equity money coming in and buying accounting firms, because it's a very profitable, important business that has a long
Right.
runway. And so what's been happening is those firms, because they cannot acquire and retain good talent in North America, they're scooping up talent overseas. So
Okay.
again, the market in India has been very competitive with the larger players, just trying to grab capacity for their captive markets. So we focus on independent accounting firms, from one practitioner to 10 to 20,
Okay.
to help them support their talent needs, because not everybody has the large infrastructure
Sure.
to go and build their
Most
own
don't.
facility.
Right. Yeah.
And even if they have that as a desire, there's logistic and technical and legal issues for setting it up. So that is something. Let us just be your white label provider,
Right.
for lack of a better word.
Great. And if somebody did want to get in touch, how do they track you guys down?
Well, so our website is www.unisonglobus.com.
Okay.
And I can give you my cell number.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that out there.
Fair enough.
The prince from Nigeria will be calling
Yeah.
you with a great,
Yeah.
great
But no,
banking exchange offer for you.
Again, if you want to look me up, I'm on LinkedIn. My name is Charles McKissick, and I'm head of business development and customer experience for North America. And again, it's my email's charles@unisonglobus.com. So be happy to help, and
Great.
really appreciate you taking time to talk to us.
Absolutely. It's good meeting you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Gary. My
All right.
pleasure.